Hey everybody, I just did a water change on my angelfish tank here, and I pulled the filter intake out, and when I did, the twig catfish that I've got in this tank just stayed on the back of it. I didn't even realize it was on there until I pulled it out of the water. And so then I picked him off into my hand, and he laid there completely still. And so when I dropped him back in the tank, he went in and hooked onto the side of my hose here. So I'm going to try to pull it out of the water and see if we can actually get a good look at my whiptail catfish up and out of the water. So let's see if he stays hanging onto this when it comes out. No. Set this off to the side over here for a moment. So that's a pretty good look at him. I just finished my water change, and when I was doing it, I actually put a couple gallons of fairly cold water in the tank inadvertently before I started the water change. I kind of topped the water off, but I just used cold water to do it. And I wasn't thinking, I was using my groundwater, and that comes out pretty much at groundwater temperatures of 55 degrees or so. And so I didn't lower the water temperature that much, but I think that might be one of the reasons he's lying there so still. Not a very active fish to begin with, but it almost seems like he's chilly and cooled off or something. None of the other fish seem to be bothered by it, and I don't even know if the heater has come on. So no, the heater's showing green, so the tank's back up to temperature, so I don't think he's lying there like that because he's chilly. I think he's just lying there like that because that's the way that fish behaves. So I wish I could give you a clearer look, but again, I literally just finished the water change. I've still got the hose in the tank, so the water is still kind of stirred up and everything. But I'm doing this in preparation for another Around the World update. So I'll have one of them coming up here pretty soon. I'll be able to talk about doing a water change on this tank. In my experience, these fish are not very good swimmers. They like to hang on things, and I actually see it on the face of this rock quite often. So once it gets up there, it'll probably just lie on the side of the rock or just hang on the glass, or eventually it'll make its way back onto the back side of that intake. That's where it likes to hang out, and it spends most of its time down there. I've never really seen it moving around before, so I don't know if this kind of behavior is normal or not. My other one used to sort of walk across the bottom on its fins, so I'm going to assume that's fairly normal behavior. And now, of course, it's just trying to find a place to hide because they're not exactly outgoing fish. Very interesting fish, though. Sorry about this overhead light on. I'm in here doing maintenance, not really thinking about shooting video. And, of course, so I got all this glare on everything, and I finally get something interesting to look at in my angelfish tank here. I wouldn't say he does as good a job as my various plecos, whether it's the clown plecos or the rubber lips or whatever. They all do a fantastic job at scraping surfaces and keeping surfaces clean. This one does a little bit. But again, he just kind of hangs around in one spot most of the day, whereas the other ones tend to sort of graze their way around. This one might do that at night. It's entirely possible that at night it comes out and starts grazing and moves around the tank a lot more. I don't know, but I always see it just hanging somewhere. Quite frequently it's on the glass, but quite most of the time it's, you know, he's hanging right on the back of that filter intake right there, and that's about all I ever see of him. So pretty cool, but I got to get back to it. I got more tanks I got to get done. It's pretty cool looking on the bottom. So, all right, there you go, everybody. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, this one here is my 20-gallon open-topped angelfish tank.